It's perfect timing because I just like belched and nobody got to hear it.
I'll
So,
do the intro.
yeah.
I'll do the intro, Neil.
All
Hi,
right, sure.
everybody, and welcome to Deconversion Stories. I'm Neil, the 604 Atheist, and
Wait a
this is
minute.
my Neil. Neil is unfortunately a little under the weather. Give him a good old yeah. It's bad. So we are joined here by JL Eldridge. There's not going to be an after party today. We're just going to kind of get through the interview. JR is in the UK, so it's awfully late for him as well.
Stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we're gonna condense everything. I'm gonna do most of the talking. We're gonna let Neil rest his voice. So JR, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I
So
can talk.
shut up,
Jeez.
Neil. All right, you go ahead. I'll just when you're ready to tap out, just let me know.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, oh wait, no, I'm just kidding. Our guest today, as Mikey mentioned, is J.R. Eldridge. He's an author, and he's also has a YouTube channel, which I recommend you check out. It is linked in the description box below. There's a few links there. He's got his Blue Sky, so go follow him on Blue Sky too. He does some great posts on there. I've skimmed over some of the stuff that he's written. He's done in a couple of clips in video form from the books themselves, and the Moses one is fucking hilarious. So go check that out. But anyway, I now have in my wish list, I guess you might say, on Audible, I've got 3 out of his 4 books ready to download, which I've got the credits for. So I will do that come tomorrow and download the books, and I'll listen to them at work like I always do. But yeah, I'm a little under the weather. It started on Wednesday evening. I felt the tickle in the back of the throat, and then it's just started getting progressively worse. And today seems to be the worst day of all. Of course it is. It's the day of the show, so why wouldn't it be? I may even have to skip out on my mom tomorrow if I'm not feeling better, which sucks.
Yeah, you don't want to be around her.
No. I'll figure it out tonight. Anyway, welcome to the show, Jar.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So
it's
start
actually
us.
quite funny. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just jumping in there.
Yeah, I was
it's
about to say,
actually quite
start us at the beginning. What was your variety of religion, and where did that kind of kick off?
So it was mainly Salvationist. It was my mom's family was Salvation Army people.
Hold on, JR. I just want to say something real quick. I don't think we've ever had a Salvationist on the show, or ex-Salvationist on the show. So this is new.
Yeah.
Can you go into a little bit of detail of what exactly a Salvationist is?
They've got this weird thing where they style
it's all
themselves
weird,
after
but
the
carry
army. But yeah, but they style themselves after the army and have it where they've got like ranks. And I remember they actually had a song where it was like they were singing, "We are an army organized by God." And yeah, it's like most of the stuff I can remember because it's like we did Sunday school, and it wasn't much different from like the Protestantism, kind of like Church of England stuff that we were taught. To be fair, one of them actually, because my grandma, my mum's mother, because she was part of the Salvation Army. When she had her funeral, there was one of the Salvationist officers came to actually give a speech, and I've been to Catholic funerals, and you think like they're kind of like dire and stuff, but I've never heard anybody say suffering so much, like even in just one sentence, like the suffering of Christ, the suffering you go through on earth, and we have to suffer, and it's just like, and I thought, I don't know if I remember this. I don't know if we went into that so much, like in Sunday school. So
just everything is suffering. We're born to suffer. We live a life of suffering.
I'm suffering right now.
We're grateful for the suffering of Jesus, and now on to it. Oh, and make sure you follow these rules to avoid eternal suffering.
Yeah, and what a moment to pick to actually to give us a sermon on suffering. Really, it's like, oh, by the way, you're grieving at the moment, so that kind of plays right into it. Put you in the right mindset to receive our message.
That shit's fucked up right there. Onward, Christian soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah, so they took that quite literally, and but yeah, at one point it was actually just my elder sister and I, going to the Salvation Army Sunday school, and they have a rule where they always have to have like one male and one female army officer there when it's with kids to watch out for each other, I suppose, just to make sure nobody fiddles or whatever.
Salvation Army. Nice stuff.
So yeah, it was kind of like having one-to-one, like one-on-one sort of tuition, and we did Bible studies.
How many nights a week did they how many nights a week did you have to go to church? Because you like have your Sunday service, but then they always have like, you know, the bonus ones that you don't know about that you end up having to go to.
Bonus.
You know.
Yeah. Well, for us it was only on Sundays, but we also had like religion stuff through the school, because it was either a case of if you didn't choose to go to Catholic school, you went to the Church of England school. Like so, there was no other option. And they would do like the assemblies, and you had to sing hymns and stuff. And they would occasionally take us to the local church, which was like this medieval building. And it's quite a different atmosphere from.
Were there monks?
The Salvation Army.
Did they have an Iron Maiden?
No, probably in the back. The vicar was a bit shifty.
Would you like to see my Iron Maiden collection? Say, wait a minute.
I didn't expect it that literally. Yeah,
it's in the basement.
You never know what they're doing in the rectory, really. But,
yeah.
But yeah, so it's like the church. It was always kind of more. It was an atmosphere where it's like, yeah, you've got to take this really seriously. With the Salvation Army, it's more like just this newish building they've got, just a little hall they have, and that was more sort of like. It felt more like just kind of like going to a school or whatever. And I always had questions. I remember like one of the early questions I had was like they were going over like the Exodus story. And it's like, well, why is it fair for God to kill off all the Egyptians because of what Pharaoh did? And I can't even remember the explanation. I just remember it wasn't a satisfactory one. But yeah, I always had the thing where I wanted to ask questions and dig into things. So then, after that, we actually moved to a different town which didn't have a Salvation Army hall. So my mother was basically of the opinion that like a Christian's a Christian. So some Jehovah's Witnesses turned up one day.
Oh no!
And she welcomed them in, and basically we're still saddled with them. It's been maybe 3 decades, and the same ones still end up going back to her. But funnily enough, it was actually, they were partly responsible for me leaving Christianity, because they came along and I always asked questions again. And I was kind of struck by how different their interpretation of things was. And I thought, well, you've got this same book, supposedly. How is it that you've got this such a radically different take on it?
Do you remember any like examples of like what you thought like doctrinally, how they were just so askew?
Yeah, like one of the things was about them saying that you don't actually like die and go to heaven, you actually sleep, was one of the things that they believed. Yeah, so everybody actually goes to slumber. And they also, like in the Old Testament, where it actually has like, it talks about Sheol, but it's usually translated as like the pit or some other euphemism. They always translate that as like being asleep or whatever. So that was kind of bizarre.
It's like, no, he's just sleeping.
He's not moving, and I'm hitting him with a stick.
He's on fire. I think he's not asleep.
It does sound like the ultimate denial, though. It's like, no, he's not dead. He's just sleeping.
He'll get up. Come on, poking him with the stick. Do something.
He's got to be dead now. You've buried him.
Right. So you just bury and sleep people.
Isn't that why they used to have bells attached to them that would go into the casket? So if they were buried them accidentally alive, they could ring the bell and then dig them up.
Yo, that is grim.
Yeah.
I need 16 bells. I want a ring camera. I want all kinds of shit in my coffin, just in case.
Just a Nintendo Switch,
which I'll never get. Thanks, government.
You can get one for me. I'll order it for you and just ship it to you.
It may not work. They're country coded.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. Like, I
what?
didn't think about. Yeah, I think
What do you mean
North
they're
America.
country coded? How does that
There's
fucking work?
they're like region locked. Like they make them for North America, so I think we might be good, but I don't know. Like, yeah,
Crazy. Move closer
That's
to
what-
the border.
I'm about to say I could try and get one of the EU ones, but it may not like connect because like the guts in there are not compatible. Like it's set up for a whole different kind of like Wi-Fi, different everything. So you got to get
wow.
it for. I was like, oh, dude, I can't even get some from the Brits. Fuck. Oh well. Anyway, enough about tariffs.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, so
Sorry.
Jehovah's Witnesses, we had stuff.
tend to do that.
Funnily enough, actually, they actually turned up today. I haven't actually seen them in years, and they turned up on the doorstep. And
Oh shit.
it's almost like God knew I was going to do this, and it's like, I know you're going to sin. I'm going to send my minions in, pull you away from it. But yeah, there's one of them with I've known her for years, and she's got, do you know, like the Stepford Wives sort of thing?
Yeah.
She's got that kind of like an air of that about her where she's always smiles, but it kind of feels like in the background it's kind of like some kind of thing, like machinery going, and it's like, how can I link this to Jesus? Right? You mentioned that your dog died. What do you think about the afterlife? And funnily enough, they actually gave me this card, and it's I'm trying to remember what was written on it. It was enjoy life forever, and then it's got this QR code, and it looks like it's like a coupon for a free gift or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, one free eternal life, please. Yeah.
Oh well, let me get my cell phone out and get the camera activated. That way,
Yeah.
they aren't region locked. Yes.
But I visited it, and unfortunately, it's just their website, so nothing interesting. But yeah, that was kind of a bizarre thing actually seeing them today. But yeah, because I actually
Maybe they knew you were coming on the show here. They're gonna
Yeah.
try
Well,
and
say they got
reconvert
the-
you.
They
Yeah.
subscribed and hit the bell notification.
yeah
So you do the same.
yeah the
So
Jehovah's
many
Witnesses. Sorry, I was going to say the Jehovah's Witnesses are ultimate followers.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what we should do. We should be like, hey, every time they knock on doors, like, here, just subscribe to this one and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I'd actually printed off a card to give them when they turned up. That'd be quite funny. So, buy my book.
Just have it ready for them.
Yeah.
I will
Holy
trade
hand
you.
grenade when they show up.
I will trade you.
Bring in the holy hand grenade.
Yeah, we actually, at one point, we actually would, if we saw them coming, we'd actually just like all get down, because she would sometimes come to the window to check to see if we're in. And we'd be like, we'd be scuttling around the floor like fabs trying to avoid us sometimes. I think my mother got fed up because my mother divorced my dad, and then ended up remarrying, and it was because my dad was abusive. And according to the Jehovah's Witnesses, it meant that my mother was actually cheating on my dad. And so that was when my mom kind of said, "Oh, I'm not sure if I particularly like their brand of Christianity." So yeah, we always tried to stay polite to them, and like I said, I had loads of questions, and actually, more recently, after I'd actually deconverted, they blacklisted me for a while because I asked too many questions,
Wow.
just too many awkward questions, and like they were saying, like one of them was like, you put a lot of emphasis on using the name of God, and yet the rendering of the name of God that you've chosen is one which is like, it's a really bad rendering, because Jehovah, it's actually, the original name is going to be closer to like Yahweh, you know?
Right.
And they weren't too keen on being told that. And she said, "Oh, but that's his English name." It's like, so he has an English name, does he?
You got to make sure you got to translate it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think slowly over time, like when they came to the house, it basically got me reading the Bible more, and the more I read, the less it made sense. I eventually sort of like kind of lost interest, and it's like it just none of this is really making sense. When you look into what they said, they're saying about, because they're like young, old Earth creationists. So it's like they believe that like the 6 days are kind of like a metaphor, and they're saying, all right, well, when it says this, so it like says that like God made the sun. Oh, that actually means that the sun appeared from behind the clouds, sort of thing. And it's like, well, if it meant that, why didn't they just say it? And there are a lot of things where it's like, so there's these parts that you say you take as a metaphor. There's these other parts that when I was at school, they always said like Adam and Eve, that's an allegory. So how do you determine which parts are actually like the literal, are literal, and which ones are like allegorical?
Allegory,
or
yeah.
You just drop the inconvenient.
The other
ones.
one starts with a P. Fuck.
Penis.
No,
I had to say it. I had to say it. Everybody wanted me to say it.
Somebody
and I said
was going to say it. So.
Everyone was begging for the penis.
Allegory and presupposition.
No.
Parable?
Parable. That's it. Thank you.
Nice.
Parable. They call like Christians that believe like the Adam and Eve story is real. It's actually just a parable, and every biblical scholar ever agrees with that fact that it's a parable, not an actual event.
Yeah.
So,
Being eaten by a whale, fact.
yeah.
Not a parable. Just
Talking snakes, parable, which I'm on board with.
But it was enough to kind of make me have doubts about the whole thing. And it's like there aren't any clear markers in the text to really say, by the way, this thing, take it literally, and this thing, don't. So I slowly started to kind of like drift away. And funnily enough, actually, so I was getting into my early teens and very into like things like werewolves and vampires, and it's a time when Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out, and thought that really got into that. And so my cousin and I were actually decided to write stories, and we decided we were going to like write a story on werewolves, one on zombies, one on vampires, whatever. And I actually I was going to write a story about witches, and my dad said to us, "Oh, your cousin's a witch." And I said, "Wait, what do you mean my cousin's a witch?"
why are you just not telling me?
Because to me, it's like a witch was like a thing that they like in fairy tales and Hollywood. So it turned out she was a Wiccan and a pagan, and so I ended up thinking, right, well, I want to research the story I'm doing. I ended up checking out what she did and her beliefs, and ended up thinking, actually, this kind of like seems to fit me better than like my previous beliefs.
Like,
and I thought,
so
well,
bad, actually.
yeah, it's like if you think of their morality, it's actually just like closer to humanism, really.
Right.
And that was actually a good stepping stone for me, because it's like I was raised being taught like that being homosexual was wrong and things like that.
Yep.
And so like with this new mindset from paganism, it was like, wait a sec, so who does it actually harm when two men or two women sleep together? I can't think of anybody except for the people involved,
Right.
So, and so I kind of like, it was kind of a radical sort of like shift in my morality as well. I had a lot of these notions about like, oh, sex is sacred and all this kind of stuff. For the Salvation Army as well, I actually enrolled as a junior soldier, and they made us take this pledge where we promised to be pure in thought, word, and deed. And it's like, wait, how the hell do I control my thoughts? And I was so paranoid that God was going to hear me thinking something I shouldn't.
You don't have a thought switch? I have a thought switch.
It's like being permanently stuck on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Like, no, all my stuff's getting spread out there.
Yeah, it's a really weird sort of mindset to be living in, because you can control your words and your actions, but to actually control the stuff that pops into your head, and you think, oh, this thing popped in, is that really going to offend God? Am I going to be smitten here?
Just be sitting there walking down the street. Oh no, lightning bolt! Just out of nowhere. Just how dare you?
You thought of touching yourself, didn't you?
You did it.
Teleported to the fucking atmosphere of Jupiter for some reason.
Yeah.
I said, don't even think about it.
So yeah, another thing actually, before I get to getting to that part of
Yeah.
my life. Early on, actually, it's like my family believed in ghosts and stuff, and they ended up becoming convinced that the house that we lived in was haunted.
Oh
And
boy.
my elder sister actually ended up having night terrors, and so that was
God.
interpreted as being ghosts. And according to we
Of
had some
course.
New Life Church people lived next door, and they said it was actually demons, which
Even
was even
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
So of course my mother's idea was, oh, I'll stick JR in there as moral support. So I'm staying in the bed with my sister. She suddenly pops up during the night screaming, and it's like, yeah, you've traumatized both of us.
You're right.
So
Congrats.
I went through my childhood actually terrified of ghosts. Had this fear of dying as well, and then the possibility oh, what if I ended up going to hell? That would be kind of unpleasant, and
Suck.
it was really, yeah, it was really not a comfortable sort of
So
mindset to be living in.
since you're the first salvationist I think that we've ever had on the show, and you were saying it was a lot of the judging and the shame and all that stuff. How bad did they instill the fear of hell? Because that's one thing that we've been noticing, was the one one lagging
Lingering
thing, lingering
horror
thing
show.
that people find it really hard to ditch is the fear of hell. How bad did they do that to salvationist kids growing up?
I don't think it was a major theme, but I think it was the fact that the idea was there was enough for, because I've got quite a vivid imagination, and so
As a
it was
writer,
enough for me
yeah.
to it was enough for me to play out scenarios in my head, and it's I do remember that they had a thing about the different colors, and you've got this part represents Christ's blood, and I remember Christ's blood being really important. That was a major thing, which it's such a weird,
Yeah.
such a weird thing to focus on, really. But yeah, they even made
say
it
it.
part of
They
the
say it. They say it all the time like it's normal.
Yeah.
That is not normal.
Nope.
If you
At
just
least one
drinking
thing.
blood.
Yeah, at least one thing, they didn't do the Eucharist or anything like that, so it's we didn't have to indulge in cannibalism or anything like that. But
Is
yeah.
blood drinking cannibalism?
Now I
I
want
guess not.
barbecue all of a sudden.
Now I want barbecue and red wine. Again.
Sorry, my. Do you want to try to get up? Try to get up.
Oh.
You're
There.
no, you're gonna not. Oh, stop.
What the hell happened there?
I think the puppy got involved.
Oh,
Yeah, she's decided that she wants to be really close to me right now.
Moral
So can you-
support.
can you- yeah, but she was fine. She was fine sitting on her own, and then decided, no, you're doing something. I'm not involved.
Yeah, you're hanging out without her.
So yeah. So anyway, so going back to when I was coming out of Christianity and into paganism, I found that quite freeing sort of thing, because I still had this vague idea of there being something divine, and it's
Right.
and so I ended up practicing that, and then I got into late teens to early 20s, and just kind of still thought, yeah, I'm a pagan, but wasn't really practicing or engaging with that really. And after a while I thought, well, it's kind of a shame there's these different traditions, I'm not taking part in any of them, and so
It's cute. It's fine.
Ended up actually I tried to re-engage with it, and I ended up actually sitting down and thinking, all this stuff that I say that I believe, is it stuff that I actually believe, or am I just is it stuff that I want to believe?
Right.
And it was kind of this switch went off in my head, and it's oh wait, everything kind of makes sense now. I was just, yes, it was stuff I wanted to believe. Now I'm not having to reconcile these ideas with reality, because here science is taught, you get taught about evolution. There's no kind of controversy about creation versus evolution. It's just kind of taken as a fact. Yes, evolution is a thing. I couldn't really reconcile a lot of the kind of new agey, weird, pagan-y beliefs with what I saw in reality, and I was having to come up with these explanations to try to reconcile them. But like I said, as soon as I let go of that, I suddenly felt like a hell of a lot lighter, because it was like it felt like a burden to try to actually. I think it probably was cognitive dissonance, where, like, on the one hand, you see this.
I often felt myself, because I did the same. I was raised in Judaism, all right, but and I also went through the pagan thing. And after all of that was finally just let go, it felt like I felt lighter, because now I didn't have to run around defending what I thought was real.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's huge.
Yeah. And it's like there were different things, like I had some kind of concept of a soul, and then I would see stuff on TV about people who got brain injuries, and it's like all this research into neurology, where they basically have determined that the personality comes from the brain. And so I'm sitting there thinking, so what if the brain's kind of like this, like, system of different antennae sort of thing that receives signals from the soul? Like, coming up with things like that to still try to force fit it. So it's like, yes, it can still come from the brain, but it can also still come from the soul.
The brain is the manual gearbox for the soul. And it can just, you pop the clutch, then you shift over into. That's how you get from different emotions. You just use your gearbox.
I think I've been like slipping gears for a few years now.
Yeah.
I definitely was earlier today.
I'm rev matching over here, making a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the later part of my story.
Wait. Before we leave the pagan part, one last question on the pagan part. So, I was raised Baptist and did like non-denominational stuff. What does pagan mean? Like, I know the word, but what do you do?
It's an umbrella term. It's like Christian, right?
Yeah.
And then the different types of Christianity.
Yeah.
So what did you do for your pagan stuff? Did you have like an altar thing? Did you go sing to trees and stuff? Like, what kind of pagan stuff did you?
I used to make love to the trees all the time. You see.
Oh my God! This is why we can't go back to the Banff National Park.
That's right.
Hell, I still sing to trees. It's just fun.
Yeah, trees are awesome regardless.
But
slap a tree on the ass. Hey, tree.
So the kind of paganism I ended up being into was Wicca, and so it's like,
yeah, me too.
It's like they classed it as witchcraft, and there were some people who claimed that it was like the earliest religion, that like the old religion is what they called it. And I always found that stupid. Yeah. And when you actually look into it, you find that it just comes out of like some of the like 19th century sort of mysticism and idea, like in a renewed interest in the occult and things like that. It is really a new sort of thing. Even the ones who styled themselves as like traditional witches as well. But yeah, it's like I had like an altar, and I had like a representation of the god and goddess, and I had like a ceremonial knife and candles, and that one thing actually, after you leave being a Wiccan, you end up with a lot of like aromatherapy sort of supplies. It's like all nice smelling candles, and it's still
diffusers and
sage fucking things,
a bunch of bamboo sticks all over, cedar.
That reminds me actually, because there was once in my teens when my uncle, who was a Catholic, decided to get our house blessed, and he had like this priest going around throwing crosses on the doors and everything. Yeah. And I ended up going around afterwards with sage smudging the whole area.
Smudging, yeah.
So I'll undo it, and I'll cast a pentagram on here.
Yeah.
Throwing salt everywhere.
There's a bloody chicken's foot on the front door as well. Thank you.
So yeah, it ended up actually getting got out the other side of that, and still had like an interest in the Bible. I always found it to be quite a fascinating book, just because there's so many different stories, there's so many different sources it came from. I started actually looking into it, like in terms of like textual criticism and things like that. And it was during the time that I was actually like reading up about textual criticism. I actually ended up getting kind of fed up with it, and I thought, I might open a new Twitter account and just like put out some joke Bible verses. So I did that. That ended up actually finding an audience, and ended up saying to one of my friends, well, I've actually got enough of these collected. I could possibly write like whole books of the Bible. And
That's
he said,
funny.
"Oh, you should write like the whole stories." And so, since I'd always actually wanted to write, I decided to start writing short stories, and then eventually decided to like collect them up together and publish books. And so that's kind of like gets us up to today.
Well, that's cool. So did you ever finish? Like, did you do a whole joke Bible or just bits and
4
pieces?
of them.
4
Yeah,
of
I've
them.
done 4 books.
You see right there on his mantle there? That's the covers.
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
I
so
don't know if those are real books, Neil. It's not a real fireplace or a
Well,
real dog
those
either.
ones aren't, but
You
he
know,
does have
like,
the real
yeah,
ones.
I could have.
Those are just images. That's all right.
yeah, I made an image of the real books,
Yes, a
and
real
the image
book.
of real books formed the eye, or whatever.
When I left
Yeah.
Wicca, they gave me this neat puzzle box that I still haven't been able to figure out.
Oh, I think you twist and then turn, and then just give it a little shrinky-ma-dinky-doo.
What? Who? Where?
I was just stalling for you so you could do your thing. Do your magic trick. You can't get it.
When in doubt, just throw it against the wall. See if it comes
Whip
apart.
it. Whip it at the drywall.
And there I was on Sunday repairing the hole in my wall.
Just clean through.
Oh, there we go.
That seems super complicated. Can you imagine making something like that? I guess it'd be pretty
Yeah.
easy, huh?
Oh, there we
They're
go.
quite fascinating things.
There you go.
No, 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 no.
What's that fucking guy with the pins in his head doing here?
I think he's Uber Eats.
He's uber pain is what he is.
He's bringing something over for you to snack on.
No. Oh no, I summoned Pinhead. Oh no.
He has a... Oh, that's the Lego summoning box. Okay, we're safe.
Oh yeah. There you go.
It only summons the Lego guy.
I need your glorious pain. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's
no-
an earthquake.
Never seen any of those.
All right. Yep. The original
no.
one's the best one.
So now that you've left all of your supernatural thinking in the past, what was like the first thing you're like, I'm watching an R-rated movie with cussing and guns in there, or I'm having a pint. What was one of your rebellion things?
The weird thing here actually is that we've got like this. It's sort of like cultural Christianity, where it's like people say, "Yes, I'm a Christian," but then it
Right.
doesn't really change any of the way that they act. So it's like it's quite common for people to still watch like scary films and stuff. So I do remember like the Jehovah's Witnesses said, "Oh, you shouldn't watch."
Well, that's not gonna happen. Oh, we lost him.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
The Jehovah's
Yeah, you
Witnesses
lost
got
it.
to him.
That's right.
They said, "Don't you be telling about us."
Oh, ye of little faith.
They're out there. There was the lady poking her nose through the blinds was out there with some bolt cutters cutting the internet cable. It's like, I'll teach you to go on that show.
2 weeks
Nice.
later, we've got her on.
Right. Wouldn't take long. As soon as, and I'm glad to hear that the Bible claims another victim.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we seriously lost him. I'm going to take this opportunity to share this funny little thing that I found. Hang on here. Share. Wait a minute. We were talking about terrorists earlier. I thought that was pretty funny. Terrifany. I think we're alone
now. I unironically love that song.
Really?
I think I think it's a very cute song.
Hey, what happened?
I just
the
switched this
background
over.
is here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Till he returns.
Dude, we're on the moon. It's
Yes.
totally bizarre.
Do you like my picture I did? Where I took some space.
You did that?
Yeah, I put some space in my cruise picture.
Oh, wow.
There's some rain behind me.
That
which
looks
was pretty cool.
actually.
Watching the rain out in the water. Like, don't hit us, and it just like, it was like, yes. Go away. It rained every morning on the cruise. It was awesome. Nice way to get rid of all the barf from the deck of the ship.
It took me all day to put that barf there. Come on.
Yo, some of these people, I'm talking about from the time we woke up to the time like we had breakfast, went off on our excursion, came back, they were in the same position at the poolside bar. I kid you not.
Oh, Stonehenge.
Nice.
This bar.
There we go.
I don't know. Yeah, the computer just died.
Uh-oh. Dog unplugged it.
Dog unplugged it.
Yeah, she, in her effort to actually get up, managed to dislodge different things, and one of them was a power lead.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I was kidding. She actually did.
Yeah.
I'm hearing echo, though.
Yeah, you are
Oh,
echoing
no.
now.
It's gone now. It's okay.
Oh, good.
It's gone.
Right.
Welcome back.
That was I think I was mid-sentence.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, you
computer
were.
just kind of like, just died.
You just went, nope.
Yeah, so I've got no clue what I was talking about either.
I'm rewinding.
Mikey's on it.
You were talking about how it was still quite common for people to watch, and then you went away.
Yeah, it's still quite common for them to watch that kind of stuff, and say there's a lot of people who basically see it as being like, oh, this is my family background. It's kind of like almost like them naming their ethnicity, really. It's like, oh yeah, it's like we're Protestants from a long line of Protestants sort of thing. And so it's like there were certain things that they warned me against, but it's like my mother always watched horror films and always watched that kind of stuff, so it wasn't really
Okay.
anything I paid any attention to.
You know,
I think
JR,
that yeah.
you were involved in Wicca, and I have the perfect chick tract for you right here. Bewitched.
How do you just have that?
I don't know. I just had it, man. What can I tell you? You know me, I'm the
That was
prop
another thing.
master.
That was another thing that the Jehovah's Witnesses, they said to my mother, oh, that he worships the devil. And my mother said, oh, they don't even believe in the devil. And the Jehovah's Witnesses said, oh, really don't.
Yeah, touche. Your religion makes you believe in the devil. We don't have devils in mine. Well,
Yeah, it's like I remember them also giving me like the whole thing about, oh, Easter, it comes from Ishtar, and which it doesn't. And trying to link that back to devil worship and saying it's like you end up worshipping balls and stuff like that, or balls, depending on where you come from.
Baal.
I think the American way it
Balls.
sounds a bit more like ball or ball.
It is.
Yeah.
It is pronounced Baal, by the way. It's not Baal.
Yeah. That sounds identical to me, to my English ears.
No,
The
sorry.
little glottal.
Baal. There we go.
We don't have any kind of like cool letters like that. Like over in Japanese, like if they have a character that repeats, you kind of put a pause into it. We don't have anything like that. We just have like irregular everything because half of the language is German. A part of it is French. Like we just have the worst syntax rules.
A perfect
possible.
example is how we just completely changed words because for some reason we needed to, like the word refrigerator. You know, there's there's no D in refrigerator. It's REFRIG, you know, ERA, whatever.
Refrigerator.
Right?
Yeah.
But to shorten it to fridge, you needed to add the D in there and then an E on the end so that the G would be silent.
We
Yeah.
have
So
to
it's
cheat
not frig.
sometimes.
Right? So it's kind of weird. English is fucked up.
Yeah, if it were German, it would be Frigger. It's like, oh, I'm going to put the food in the Frigger.
I'm sure she'd be very upset if you did that.
I suppose it depends on what the food is.
I suppose. I'm in flashbacks of 9.5 weeks here for some reason.
Flashback to Freddy got fingered. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage? We both went places.
Oh my lord!
That Tom Green guy, one of yours, Neil.
Yeah, I know. He still does live streams on TikTok all the time up in his cabin, and they're quite fun to watch. He's a pretty funny guy.
Oh, Tom Green.
Yeah, he's got a big.
I don't think the Americans were ready for him.
Right.
Ready
I don't
for
really
Tom Green?
think they were ready for him at all.
It
Yeah.
was too weird.
When I actually first heard of Freddy Got Fingered, I thought it was like part of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise originally, and then when I soon learned otherwise.
Some sort of pornographic fan fiction of Nightmare on Elm Street.
This is the movie I wanted.
It was a very different kind of horror.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So aside from the Wicca, was there anything else that kind of like Buddhism or
I got
Tao-
into Druidism myself, so
Yeah, was there anything else that kind of like you felt like you needed to like fill that spiritual niche that we kind of invent for ourselves?
I did kind of look into Buddhism, and there are some ideas in some of the, like some of the Eastern religions which aren't necessarily like theistic sort of religions. There's some of them where it's kind of like, oh, it's just a philosophy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Some of those were kind of interesting, but it's never something that I adopted. I think like as soon as I realized that I was actually an atheist and didn't believe any of the stuff, I just started to think like one of the things actually is I went from actually being scared of death as a child, really was scared of death, to actually being able to actually come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Because it's a real thing that happens. It's not a pleasant thing, but you have to really deal with it. And I actually had like back in 2019, I had a string of deaths close together and had people like saying stuff like, "Oh, wouldn't you like to believe that there's something?" And it's like, well, yeah, I'd also like to believe there's like no starving kids. I would like to believe there's
Right.
no war. But me sitting here
Yeah.
and saying, "Oh, I'd like that to be the case," doesn't change the fact that I know that it's not the case. It doesn't change reality what I want to believe. But I think
don't-
that it kind of sorry?
Don't you want to believe that tomorrow the bank's gonna just mess up and give you $1 billion? Don't you just want? It's like, yeah, I mean that'd be great, but I can't just do that
Yeah.
forever.
I tried that with my rent for a while. Just thought, oh no, I'm just going to believe that I don't have to pay rent, and then
There you go. I
After a
believe
while,
I
the
don't have
landlord-
to.
yeah, the landlord gets in touch and say, no, you do have to pay rent, and we're going to send these nice men to start taking your stuff out if you don't.
No, God doesn't want me to pay rent. And I'm pretty sure he wants that.
yes, he does. God needs money apparently.
Right. He needs
Yeah.
my
Why they
rent.
collect money at the churches because fucking guys
It's
broke.
one of the weirdest things, like in like if you think of like the Exodus narrative, he takes them out into the desert, and then the first thing he said is like, "Oh, I'm going to need loads of gold and silver. I need lots of stuff." And it's like, wait a second, we've just packed up basically what we can carry, and you're demanding gold. But can you not just like miracle some gold up?
I mean, if anything, I think all churches they should get one bill of each like denomination, and then just loaves and fishes that thing. Just make
Yeah.
more. You guys are good at making shit
Right.
stretch. Just take that $5 bill, fold it in half, and then unfold it, and you have two. Right?
Yeah.
That's it should be that easy.
You'd think if it were true,
What do you want
that
them? And
it
what do
would
they
be-
want them to mine gold out in the desert? Like, what do they? What do you want me to get this gold from?
It ends up like they justify it by saying like they ended up actually plundering some of the Egyptian owners' houses on the way out. But it's like still, it's like if they're just doing like a snatch and
Fuck yeah.
grab, how much fucking gold could they get really? But yeah, it is really bizarre. But there's
The
so
middle
much in the
manager.
Bible that's just bizarre.
The middle
I would have
management.
raided the Pharaoh's place.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going after the middle management of like a pyramid construction company or something like that. It's like, yeah, we've been,
Middle management.
you know what I mean? You're going after the site manager. Like, oh, he doesn't have any gold, and he doesn't get paid until like 2 weeks from now. Like he gets bread mostly as his payment. Like
Maybe
no
some
one had,
wine or
yeah, they never had riches.
Yeah, and you can imagine them going up to Moses and saying, "Oh, could you wait until like after next week? Because it's like he gets paid at the end of the week.
Yeah.
You have plenty of time then."
Dude,
But, yeah.
it's Tuesday. I'm skint. You gotta wait until I get paid on Friday. Like I had a really crazy weekend with Bathsheba, and man, she ran me dry, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Plus, I had a couple sick days in the week, and they're paying me for 6 days apparently.
Right.
Yeah,
You
But,
just have to put in time off.
I think that like a lot of the reason that I ended up like making fun of the Bible, it's just so. First of all, it's so easy to do, but
I was
I'm
just
just so
gonna say,
often,
it's the only
just so
reason you
often
need.
but there's so often that I would end up reading things, and it's just kind of like with me, I'm first of all, I've got the tendency to just kind of like read things and think, oh, that kind of sounds like this, that could be made dirty, sort of thing. But also, it's a case of like, there's a lot of things where I just thought, well, I feel like I need to point out this plot hole, and I tried to write a lot of that into my stories. Where, like, when I got up to like parts where they're all like contradictions and things like that, I'd either end up like pointing out, oh, by the way, there's a contradiction here, or inventing some convoluted way around it to try to still make the story work, just to kind of show how ridiculous the whole thing is. And for the Exodus story, that was one of that was full of them because that's like a few narratives
There's
woven together.
hundreds of contradictions in the Bible.
Yeah,
And by the
Yeah,
way,
and
that was
there's
a
like a-
great segue into why you decided to start doing the books. And
yeah.
tell us a little bit about each of these books as well.
So I started off with Genesis, which seems logical. I decided to begin at the beginning. And then shortly afterwards, I thought it would be quite nice to do like the nativity stories for Christmas. It turns out there's not actually much material in the Bible about it. You've got these two contradictory accounts. But funnily enough, people managed to kind of mesh them together to do like nativity plays and stuff like that, but don't seem to recognize that the two narratives that do contradict each other. For that book, I actually ended up to actually add more material to it. I did a parody of A Christmas Carol. I cast King Herod as Scrooge, and so he ends up being like visited. He's visited by his ex-wife Mariamne, and so he ends up being shown like the different scenes. And I actually did a lot of well, not a lot, but I did a fair bit of research into the historical King Herod. And like there was a thing about like with one of his wives, Mariamne, he apparently felt so guilty that he actually preserved her body in honey because he had her executed.
Oh yeah.
They apparently his sister was saying like that she was had been plotting against him and stuff. But afterwards, he actually felt really bad about it and decided to preserve her body, according to legend. So that where like it goes back and it shows like different scenes, and it shows there was another one of his wives was called Doris, and he basically abandoned her. And so I've got like this scene where he's like like breaking up with her, and she's like, do you know, like in A Christmas Carol, you've got the part where he's like he's been in love with this woman, and she says, "Oh, you're like too interested in money and stuff like that."
Yeah.
Basically the same scene with Herod, with his wife. And he's just like saying, "Oh, well, I don't really care." And all the way through, he's completely unmoved by the whole thing, and just like, nah, yeah, I don't care. And gets to the end, and he ends up like being shown like his actual funeral, and starts to actually panic and think, "Oh shit, this actually has consequences." But it turns out it's actually all a show just to get out of like being shown the visions, and he goes back to his own ways. And plus, he's also learned that the three weirdos who turned up saying about a mystical baby, that there was actually something in that. So he actually decides, based on that, to go after Jesus. And so it ties back into like nativity stories. With the third one, third book, I decided to go like cover Moses. So that ended up being like from Exodus to Deuteronomy, and even the parts that like you've got like several versions of each thing. Well, in the main text, it's actually several woven together, and then you've also got Deuteronomy's version, which contradicts it totally again.
Yeah.
Decided after that, all right, well, I'm going to write the Gospels, and yeah, that's like 4 very contradictory accounts. Like they pick up on major events, except for John. John goes off on his own merry way and wants to talk about like a word that became flesh and all that. He's
Pharaoh. I like how in your version, Pharaoh puts out the bounty hunters to like, bring me the child.
yeah.
Mandalorian and Boba Fett,
Yeah.
IG-88.
Yeah. I can hear the little recorder. Do woo woo woo.
That's what was missing from it. I should have had Baby Yoda.
Everything needs Baby Yoda.
That would have been good, actually. But Jesus is Baby Yoda. Like, from a young age, making stuff float.
You could do a completely separate book on that whole thing with
Man.
Grogu and whatnot, and just make it its own little funny little thing. Just do a YouTube video like it. I think that'd be hysterical. I would share that shit all day long if you did.
That'd be funny.
And that's a good thing actually with the Bible, having the different Gospels. It's like you actually have license to actually say, "Oh, I'm going to do a different version," because the Bible already did.
Yeah, right.
That is
lots
true.
of different versions.
It's your translation.
Yeah,
You're just translating the text.
yeah. I was inspired to do it. God came to me and he said, "The way the Bible's written is wrong. I want you to reconcile it." I did actually in the Gospel group. Sorry, I was just saying.
It's a bit of a delay, so I understand. Carry on.
So in the Gospels book, I decided because you've got like when it comes to like the post-resurrection stuff, they're all completely different. So I decided that I'd have like one kind of story that was like the main canon. And originally Jesus comes back as a zombie, and then slowly he ends up like getting the kind of like a bloodlust sort of thing, and he ends up actually being beaten to death with a frying pan or something. And then he actually rises again from that. He rises again from that and comes back as a spirit, and then it means like and get to add on the ending where like he's up on the shoreline and says like, "Oh, cast your nets on the other side." It's because he's basically died off as a zombie, came back as a spirit, and now he's got like full control of his mental faculties.
He's a lich.
But another thing that,
Lich Jesus.
That was actually one of my friends.
By the way, frying pan is my weapon of choice too.
Yeah, something with a nice sturdy bottom. You can't beat up a sturdy bottom.
Cast iron bitches, yeah.
Like Tangled.
They can block bullets.
Yeah. So another thing that I did with that was I decided, right, there's going to be one ending that's canonical, and I decided to do a separate ending where it's actually a parody of E.T. And so you've got it where like they turn up at the tomb, Jesus is in like these like the part where E.T.'s sick and he's in this like incubatory thing. So he actually goes in, he sees these people in these silver suits. Yeah. And so it's like the angels are saying, "Oh, we were still making preparations for him to resurrect," and things like that. But it ends up where they decide to like stage a rescue and rescue them from there. End up like pedaling away from the Roman gods on bicycles, and at the end, actually, like end up flying across the silhouette of the crucified Easter Bunny.
Oh, that's awesome!
That's funny.
Because he makes an appearance. Because when Jesus is being put upon the cross, he actually looks across, sees this giant pink bunny there. And he says, "Oh, what are you in for?" And the bunny says, "I was laying chocolate eggs around the temple. I thought it'd be a nice treat." And they said it was sacrilege. And so he ends up being put up as well. So in that ending, they go across the silhouette of him, and you end up having like the ending where it's like he ascends into heaven, and there's like this rainbow in the sky, like in there. So, but yeah, it really does give you license to do that, because it's like they've done it themselves. So why shouldn't I?
And what's the people who said Jesus was from Missouri? Who is that? Is that the Mormons?
Mormons.
Yeah.
Mormons. Yeah.
Jesus is from Missouri.
Yeah, dude.
Like there was even a Missouri when he was alive, or allegedly.
Yeah.
The great state of Missouri has been around since the beginning of days. Just didn't have a name.
Yeah, they said that Eden was there. They said Eden was like somewhere in Jackson, Missouri, and the Israelites went across in submarines. Like this lost tribe of Israel. Yeah.
Why not? You know, at this point. And then he ran with gold tablets that we calculated were anywhere between 75 and 90 pounds each. And he ran through the forest with these things in arm.
I call bullshit. There's a restaurant here in Vancouver somewhere called Eden. It was here.
Oh, see, maybe they're just the geographical locations. We're just a little
Lost in translation.
See, the translations, that's where it gets you.
I actually had a friend who was a Mormon, well, a former Mormon. And I remember the first conversation I had with him, and he said, God lives on a planet called Kolob. And I said, that's bollocks backwards. And he said,
that's fucking funny.
Said, yeah. But you've got this religion where they're like, you've got this religion where they call it like, it's like one letter away from being moron. And then the God who lives on a planet that's bollock backwards. But yeah, after he left Mormonism, he actually read up a lot about Joseph Smith and found that really fascinating. And I found out a lot from him about Mormonism. Really interesting stuff. Yeah, it's all really interesting.
Joseph Smith's an interesting dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting dude.
Fucking con artist.
He was called a prophet. Dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was all about profit.
Yeah. He just wasn't all that sure on the spelling of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And having other people's wives as prophecy. God told me that you need to go to Antarctica to go preach to the penguins. Your wife will stay here with me.
Is this the same ones that Trump is throwing tariffs on?
Yeah, fuck you, penguin. Your trade is all in balance with the largest economy on the earth.
It's funny because somebody today was actually asking me about nuns, and I said, the funny thing with nuns is I've always said that they look like penguins, and I used to go to this place where like the window of this place actually overlooked the garden of a nunnery. And so when the nuns actually came out, he used to do like a David Attenborough sort of thing, a narration, like they were penguins. And it's like, and here's Mother Miriam. Yeah. And so Sister Mary Clarence is the weaker of the lot. He stays to the back of the pack. She may not be fed today. And had it like, well, Mother Superior's like having to vomit into her mouth to feed her and everything like that. And so you'd see them waddle off.
She carries her religious texts on her toes to keep them from getting wet in the snow.
Yeah.
Like they do their eggs.
If the Bible touches the ground, this Bible will be doomed.
It will have to be ceremoniously shredded and burned at an altar.
But yeah, it is a weird thing to see nuns in their natural habitat.
You can tell that this is a very old nun by the rosary.
Yeah, it's just more to the gain as the age.
Yeah. Just count the beads. You could tell how old they are.
So before we bring this to a close, JR, I just want to ask you if you, because I know, I'm under the weather, so I'm not going to be able to do an after party. I'm already starting to fade. On the 3rd of May, which is the first Saturday of May, we usually do a Lego stream, and we are more than willing to combine it with a sort of an after party for your show today, if you want to come on and hang out with us.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and that'll be at right around 5 p.m. as well, my time. So take a nap
Does that mean
beforehand.
Yeah. Does that mean I have to go out and buy Lego as well?
If you want to, sure. Yeah, hell
It's
yeah. you
not
can build
mandatory,
with me.
but it is encouraged.
Yeah.
Or I could put like a Lego model on the mantelpiece.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Couple of the last ones I built were science related. I have the flying machine with Leonardo da Vinci.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And then I did the STEM one, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's all about the minifigures, man. This one had it's got Marie Curie right here and George Washington Carver, and of course right here we got why am I blanking on his name?
Isaac Newton.
That's it, Isaac Newton, right there with the apple. And a DNA chain, and it's cool because you can do this and it spins and the carbon atom jumps up.
Oh, I never saw that part.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of neat. So
Oh.
been science themed lately, and I also have Galileo, which I did a while ago too. So
Cool.
yeah. And
And
this time
spray
I'm
all
going to
those
be
with
building
Lysol.
on the 3rd. I will be building the TARDIS, so it'll be a Doctor Who one this time.
Oh man, the TARDIS is bigger on the inside than the outside. We're gonna be here for 1,000,000 hours.
I know,
Makes
right?
it really hard to build.
But it's cool because it comes with a little weeping angel, little Dalek, a Cyberman. 2 of the Doctors got the Capaldi and Matt Smith version, and of course the TARDIS itself, which looks like the TARDIS on the like in the front, but then it opens up and it's got the whole thing inside of it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It should be a fun
Yeah.
build.
And you could always just like send it back in time once you've done it, so you can have it like ready made.
I was about to say, Neil, if you were ever going to build it, you've already built it.
Thankfully, that didn't come out of my nose because that would have been horrifying.
Oh, all the boogers. Oh god.
You really need to flush those sinuses.
Yeah. I think Neil's feeling much better now.
Anyway, so yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a combination Lego party and J.R. Eldridge after show kind of thing, or delayed after show, because I'm sorry, guys, I'm a little under the weather here, and I got to get some rest. Usually, I take my mom out for brunch in the morning every Sunday, like a good son should.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have to cancel that if I'm still feel like this, because I don't want to get her sick, because then she'll get everyone else in her home sick too. So
Yeah.
that would be bad. And I'm supposed to do a college show with this fella tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk to Wes. Maybe we can bump it, because I don't know if I'll be up for it. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'll let Wes know.
And we're
You
a
might be
package deal.
miraculously cured by tomorrow.
What's that?
Okay.
I was saying you might be miraculously cured tomorrow. So you get up on Easter morning.
Everybody pray.
Yeah,
Oh,
just eat one little Easter egg, and all of a sudden I'm cured.
Yo, these
Praise the Easter bunny.
Yo, these eggs this year are gonna be all chocolate, because can't nobody afford to be laying chicken eggs all around the yard. We need to save those eggs. Those eggs are precious.
Nobody likes blue and pink egg salad either.
I was so disappointed that the eggs inside of Easter eggs were not colored that color. I was so sad when I figured out they were normal eggs painted. I was like, what? Oh, I thought we were going to have blue eggs for breakfast.
Do you not get like the Cadbury's cream eggs over there? They've got like an egg like, yeah.
I love those things.
So
And the mini
that's
eggs.
got a nice eggy. We've had adverts here about how you eat them. Like, do you like to suck them out? Or...
You got to remember Cadbury mini eggs and Cadbury Easter cream eggs. The chocolate we use for it, like in England and Canada, is different from the chocolate they use for them.
Yes, I've been to America, and it's not really. It's like you've got a chief to call it chocolate. To be honest.
Yeah, right. It's like you call this an Easter cream egg. What is this shit? There's not enough fucking chocolatey flavor in here.
Look, we got a lot of problems right now. If you guys could just not dump on us. We know our candy sucks. Everything sucks. This place sucks. We're stuck here. We can't even afford to leave.
No,
we're just trapped and suck.
It's not The U.S. itself doesn't suck. It's the people running it right now that are making it suck.
It sucks.
I thought you were just going to leave it at the people. It's not the country that sucks. The land is perfectly fine. It's just those
Yeah.
people on.
It's just all
Well,
those
some of them.
pesky citizens that live there.
Goddamn fucking maggot morons. Anyways,
Yeah.
JR, man, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah,
I hope you
thanks
weren't
for
too
having me.
nervous for too long, because Mikey and I have a tendency to make people feel all right. So
I'm
Make you
fairly
feel-
comfortable.
Make you
apart
feel
from,
right
like,
at home.
Apart from the computer shutting down and my dog having a nervous breakdown.
I
know-
literally forgot that happened.
me too. And honestly, if our show makes it all the way through without some kind of event, big or small, then I'll start believing in God. Okay, let's put it that
Right.
way.
Well, it could have been God's attempt to shut the whole thing down. I knew
But
he was
he
going to smite me
failed.
eventually.
Oh,
Try
just
again,
pretend, yeah.
God, try again.
Oh,
Might have been God.
I said it. I said it was the Jehovah's Witness lady from earlier. She was out in the bushes with a bolt cutter, and she's like, "Cut the internet."
This guy talking about Jehovah's Witnesses. Fuck him.
How dare you? Don't you
Yeah, I'll
talk
go
about
to the window
Jehovah?
and find a nose pressed against it.
Yeah, she's sitting there. You part the blinds. She's right up, face smushed against it. I heard you. I heard you.
Cosmic Call, I'm so darn late. I'm sorry. Well, if you weren't out there taking pictures, like really cool, awesome pictures of planets, maybe you could have been here on time.
Yeah, planet lover.
The planets will be there
Anyway.
tomorrow.
Yeah, the planets will be there. They're not going anywhere.
Well, thank you, TQ Prower. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, what the fuck is wrong with you? Hit the
Do
damn
it.
thing. It's down there somewhere. You can also become a member, which helps us out big time. Stephanie Helms says, by the way, great story, JR. Oh, yeah, it's the 20th today. Happy 4th. Oh, no. Tomorrow. Easter falls on the Let's Get Fucking Stoned Day. So there you go. So happy 420 tomorrow. Yes, which is also, if I'm remembering correctly, isn't that, I could be wrong, Bob Marley's birthday?
I can look.
I think it is.
There's a lot of
Anyway.
people's birthday.
Well, yeah, I know. But you'll find all of them will pop up on my Facebook page tomorrow. So, yeah, JR, I recommend you guys go and check out his books. I have linked in the description box below. I've got 3 of them queued up for me to download on Audible, so I'm going to be listening to those. He does have clips with little segments of what he's written, so definitely go check out his YouTube channel as well, which is also linked below. And then you can stalk him on Blue Sky, because I put his Blue Sky link down there below too.
Yeah.
Bob Marley was born February 6th.
Okay, so not same.
Folklore
People
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis.
Oh, there you go.
We like Andy.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it, guys. So I'm sorry we're not going to do an after party tonight. We will have JR on the 3rd of May with our Lego stream, and we'll show him some love and some honor on that one while we build stuff out of Lego. And apparently JR is going to join us and build something out of Lego.
So write your questions down.
No, it's not Bob. Yeah, we figured that out. Tons of mice. We figured that out. Yeah, so if you got anything you want to ask JR in a couple of weeks, just make some notes, and we'll let you speak. I have my finger for the mute button, so behave yourselves.
Or else.
If you guys missed it, a couple weeks ago, I did the Hang Up with Matt Dillahunty, and that was a lot of fun. So I recommend you check out that episode. I think
I was trolling in the chat.
I saw you. He's invited me to come back. He's like, just let me know when you want to come back. We'll do it again. You did a good job, which I thought I did a much better job the first time I was out there with him. But a little bit. Anyway. Thank you, everyone.
Real quick. Last thing. I was on today earlier. I did an interview with Mandisa Thomas on Black Non-Believers. So if you didn't see that interview, go check that out. That was pretty cool. That was earlier today.
Yeah. I saw that pop up in my feed, and I tuned in for a few minutes, but then I had to come back in. So
Internet's been
watch the
crazy
whole-
today. She dropped out too.
Did she? Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Unfortunately, again, no after party, and I apologize for that, but we'll have JR back on the 3rd for the Lego
Stephen
stream.
Marley was born on 420.
Oh, there you go. I don't even know who that is. But anyway,
His brother.
I kind of figured they have the same last name, so that was.
You know what? The guitar playing one.
I will just be a dumbass Canadian. Anyway,
Oh, no, it's
until
his
then,
son.
guys.
His son. Sorry.
His son? Okay. Oh, how convenient to be born on 420.
And Bob Marley is your fucking dad? Like, come on.
Right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Until then, everybody, like I always say after the interview part of the show, well, tonight, the only part of the show, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. We'll see you guys next time.
Take
Bye.
care. Right.